After the Pool, the video series where I take the rest of the comic books that I didn't cover in previous videos and I share my thoughts with you guys. Whether you agree or disagree, you know, that's all good. It's all opinionated. That's what makes this video so great. So if you love daily comic book content, if you love discussing comic books, guys, you came to the right place. Why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button? I promise you won't be disappointed. Also, before we get started, this video is sponsored by Mutant Beaver Comics. Guys, if you love exclusive variant comic book covers, go to mutantbeavercomics.com. They have over 4,000 of them in their store. And if you use my discount code CORNER10, that's in the link in the description box below, not only will you save 10% off of your first purchase, but you'll save every purchase after that. So check out mutantbeavercomics.com. All right, guys, so let's get started. It's going to be a fun episode. Here we go. The only DC comic book I read for the current comic book week. This is Green Arrow. This is issue 10. This is a 32-page comic for $4. Joshua Williamson is the writer here. Tom Derenick does the artwork. The artwork is really good. Even from the opening page here, this 2-page spread, as Connor and Ollie are on some cool snowmobiles here. As you read through the comic, you get introduced to, you know, all of the family members that are connected to Ollie, which I thought was really a lot of fun. This page right here, I thought this was like the standout page as you get reintroduced to, again, those family members like Arrowette, Red Arrow, Red Canary. You wind up seeing Speedy in here. There was just a lot of great stuff in this comic where you're just like, oh man, the artwork is really cool. Now, there wasn't like a ton of action in this comic book. There was a lot of like, you know, people being reunited. There was a lot of family hugs because if you remember in the beginning of this series, Ollie was missing. He was in a different universe, so he hasn't seen these people in quite some time, right? He does come across Roy Harper because Roy has been working for Amanda Waller, and he has been going in search for the sanctuary and going after that mask, and it looks like maybe he's gone MIA, and Green Arrow has to go after and find him. So those two wind up confronting each other, and what happens at the end? Well, you know, you have to read it to find out. But this book was pretty good. Do I wish there was a little bit more action in the comic book? Yes. Did I feel like it should have been more intense? Yes, because I didn't think it was going to be like, you know, a reunited of characters in it, but you know, it is what it is at this point. So at the end of the day, I think I'm going to give this one a solid B. Hopefully the action picks up and we get to the whole sanctuary thing and we see where it goes from there. Wolverine issue 46. The legacy numbering here is 388. This is a 28-page comic for $5. This is the Sabretooth War Part 6, guys. So this book is written by Benjamin Percy and the artwork is done by Corey Smith. The artwork is always really good in this comic. I love the way, you know, Sabretooth is drawn. There are some really good action scenes. The coloring is really nice here as we get to see, you know, Sabretooth and Wolverine go deep under the water as Sabretooth is in search for Forge's like depowering weapon to destroy other mutants, which is really cool. And we get to see Wolverine under the influence of Quentin Quire's, you know, telekinetic abilities here. So that was really fun as well. And it was a book about him, you know, pretending that he was in a Weapon X mission once again. In the meantime, Quentin Quire sends out this hidden signal to the Exiles for help, and maybe that they can help Wolverine out before it's actually too late. Again, the artwork shines in this book when there's, you know, scenes with fighting in them. It doesn't hold back on the gore, which I really enjoy. And this book was a lot of fun. By the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue, you think that maybe the good guys prevail, but that's not the case. So I really enjoyed this comic once again. It was a step up from the last issue. Is this series probably a little bit too long? Maybe so, but it's still a fun read. I don't know how they're going to keep this going for another 4 issues, but I'm in it for the long ride here, so I'm going to give this one a B+. plus. I had a good time reading it. The artwork is what's really good, and I love the action scenes, man. So looking forward to part 7. The Incredible Hulk. This is issue 10. I am so curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this book. Legacy numbering 791. We're getting close to 800. 28 pages for $4. This one is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and the art is done by Danny Earls. Now, you guys can't tell me the quality of this book is the same as it was in the first couple issues. The book is rough, in my opinion. The artwork is not even that great. I feel like I've seen better artwork from the same artist. And in this art, I felt like maybe the only decent page was this like real creepy like ass creature in here as it's disfigured and contorted and things like that. But the overall art just was not good. Like, I don't like the way the Hulk looks. Like, he looks weird. The detective ghost guy looked kind of weird. I don't know, man. There wasn't even a lot going on in this comic, and I felt like the art was a little bit sloppy. Could have been a little bit better here, just a little bit lazy. Like, this is supposed to be fog, and I don't know, man. It just didn't work for me. And what this book had to offer was just this detective story about all these people being kidnapped by this creature, and Charlie has gone missing. How does this progress the overall plot of this story? This is the problem with this book. Like, we have Charlie, who's a supporting cast character that tags along with Hulk, right? And it's like, we don't get any story progression with her at all. And when it comes to the Hulk, he's been given this ultimatum of, okay, you can trade in the Hulk persona and you can be just Banner, and the Hulk doesn't want to do that. So instead, we go to like the monster of the week, but instead of like the monster of the week, it becomes the monster of 2 months for us, because it's like, if you have a story arc that deals with a single monster, it's going to be 2 or 3 issues before an arc is over, and if you don't get a good monster, it's going to be a boring arc. And then when you have no Nick Klein artwork on top of it, it makes it to be super boring. And this issue had nothing to offer for any character. We even see Charlie in this book, because again, she's gone missing in here. There's something missing from this comic book. It's not the same. It has a very interesting plot, but we're not progressing that plot, and it needs to go further than what it's doing. Like, give me a mini boss or something, like maybe a bigger lackey of the main boss or something like that's going to test the strength of Hulk, and that's going to test the fortitude of Charlie. Like, what are we going to do here? It's just a little kidnapping and trying to get a little description of a character that we're probably not going to see again in a couple of months. Who gives a shit, right? I don't know, man. This book is not the same, and I want to love it. I really, really do, but it has dropped so far from me, and I'm going to continue to read it because I like good Hulk books, and I feel like this can be a good Hulk book. It had the potential to be a great Hulk book. I don't know, man. So I'm going to give this one a D-. This is pretty close to failing on all levels for me, so we'll see where it goes. Duke. This is issue 4, the penultimate issue. Man, I can't believe that this book is actually ending. This is a 32-page comic for $4. This book is written by Joshua Williamson. Once again, the art is done by Tom Riley. The artwork continues to deliver on all levels of this comic book, guys. There's major blood in there. If you guys are a G.I. Joe fan, based off of what happened in the last issue, you know he's not dead, right? Here's this 2-page spread, which, man, oh man, when I read this Duke comic book, to me, this seems more like G.I. Joe than it does the actual G.I. Joe comic. I feel like the G.I. Joe comic is okay, but it's just like has too many characters going on. We got this mutated island and stuff like that. There's just a lot, right? And here we get introduced to a few characters. It doesn't seem overwhelming. It seems like a book that's a really good jumping on point for new readers. And I like this so much better than the regular G.I. Joe series right now. But in this comic here, we wind up getting to see the Baroness working with Duke in the comic. And this is a book where it's setting up things to get to the end, right? We see Duke on his mission to go against the Mars people, which is Destro and all his other people. He flies the jet. There's lots of action. We get to see Scrap Iron in this issue, which he was one of my first Cobra Commander or Cobra guys. I remember I got him at Walgreens and during Thanksgiving break. I remember that, and because I was bored to death, and me and my mom went there, and she's like, "You want to get a toy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I found this guy at Walgreens. I was like, "Yeah, dude, I got a freaking Cobra guy. I love this dude, right?" And so it was just cool how he's like fighting Duke in the fighter plane and stuff like that. And it just looks like it's setting up to be an awesome ending, and you get to see a badass character at the end. And I remember these guys also when I was a kid. And if you don't want to get spoiled here, close your eyes. This is the character that you see. And 3, 2, 1, right here. Yes, now you can open your eyes. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I was like, I remember those guys. They were everywhere, right? So it's so good. I really liked it. I'm so curious to see how this book is going to end, how this G.I. Joe universe is going to continue in the Energon universe. This book is an A, man. I love this book. It's so much fun. In fact, no, fuck it. I'm going to give it an A+. It was just that much better. I mean, it's just been so entertaining reading these Cobra Commander books, these Duke books. Hopefully the momentum continues, but I definitely say read this. And if you can't get your hands on back issues when this comes out in trade, go ahead and read it. Okay, get ready for the Spider Onslaught. There was a ton of Spider books released this week. Ultimate Spider-Man, plus like Spiderverse, Superior Spider-Man. Like, what else do we have? Amazing Spider-Man. Like, there was so much released this particular comic book week. And let me tell you guys, nothing is going to be Ultimate Spider-Man at this point. But what we're going to do is we're going to cover all these Spider books now. I am so curious to hear what you think about these ones. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Edge of Spider-Verse. This is issue 2. The last one I didn't like at all. This time we get introduced to a new character by the name of Spooky Man. Now this comic book was 40 pages for the price of $5. And it says that there's 3 stories on here. There's the Spooky Man, there's the Cyborg Spider-Man, and then there's Spider-Man 2099 in prologue, but I didn't see anything in there at all containing to Spider-Man 2099. I mean, it says it right here, and it gives it credit to Alex Seguria, who's the writer, and there's an artist, but there's only 2 stories in this comic book. So I'm a little bit confused. If you can have an answer for me, let me know. But our first story, the artwork is very, I would say, I get the vibes of The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's what this Spooky Man character reminded me of, as we get to see him overtake this Peter Parker-esque like character, and he's getting bullied in high school, and there's this ritual going on. It was just hilarious. We get to see Spooky Man actually like make all these crazy rhymes, and he looks like the Nightmare Before Christmas guy, whatever his freaking name was, and it just totally reminded me of that. Like, look at that, doesn't it? So I thought this story was okay. Was it the best story ever read? No. But again, it was entertaining. Then you get the story with Cyborg Spider-Man, which I'm a huge fan of, because I remember when Eric Larson drew him in the Spider-Man series and came out with him, and I thought it was very badass. He wasn't an alternate character. He was just something that was there, right? And, you know, we wind up having him have like these cybernetic parts going against all the other cybernetic villains in there. And they use all these things with upgrades. And then, you know, Spider-Man's got like this little character that he has with him. I forgot what his name was. I don't know if it's like Webby or something like that. I could have totally forgot. But we get to see this version of the Sinister Six, which I thought was a little bit creepy. You know, seeing him in this way. It was entertaining. Was it perfect? No. But it was fun, and I felt like this one was better. I just thought there was going to be a third story in there, and there totally wasn't. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give this one C+. It was a little bit better than average. I like seeing Cyborg Superman again, and I like seeing the Nightmare Before Christmas Spider-Man. That's basically what it was. So Take it for what it is, though. You don't have to spend your money on it. I'll give you, obviously, your discretion here if you want to continue reading or buying these Edge of Spider-Verse books. They're more like spec books than anything. We see what sticks to the wall. No pun intended. Superior Spider-Man. This is issue 5, legacy numbering 50, 28 pages, $5. This book is written by Dan Slott. The art is done by Mark Bagley. What can you expect from Mark Bagley's artwork? Well, you know by now, right? I mean, how many issues has he done with Spider-Man character? Here we have Supernova as we continue this story arc as it's been going on, where Superior Spider-Man created the Supernova character. It was a person that worked at Horizon Labs, if you remember from Amazing Spider-Man Big Time way back when. And we get to see a big fight that commences between Peter, Otto Octavius, and Supernova, and they trick her in being captured once again. And because of the situation that happens in this comic book, no longer is once again Peter and Otto Octavius, friends are teaming up because of this situation, like I said. Very explosive artwork. Again, what can you expect from Mark Bagley? And the ending of this book is what I did not expect. Okay, so it's like Slott had an agenda here when it came to Spider-Boy, okay? And I'm going to spoil this because I'm curious to hear what you guys might think if you don't read this series. But based off of what happened with the Edge of Spider-Verse, we had this different version of Peter Parker who got into this different universe, and he had these spiders of a different world, okay? And then Spider-Boy is exploring his Oscorp, the place that he works, right? And Spider-Boy winds up coming into his office, and these Otto Octavius spiders are obviously going to take over Spider-Boy. They enter his mouth, and it looks like Otto Octavius is now Spider-Boy. So it's like Superior Spider-Boy. Kind of weird. I didn't see it coming. I don't even know what to think of it. It's so if he can't be Superior Spider-Man, he's going to be Superior Spider-Boy, and he had these spiders all along. It's just totally weird, right? So I don't know, man. And then I don't know how it's going to connect to the Spider-Boy series in itself. It's interesting. It's different. I kind of wasn't expecting it because I was like, well, after this Superior Spider-Man story arc, where are they going to go with it? So I guess the next best thing is Superior Spider-Boy. So I don't know, man. I like it. It's different for sure. I mean, it's not different, but it is in a way. I'll keep talking. I like the series, dude. I think it's good. It's not a really original idea. It's B-, so we'll see where it goes, man. I'm on board. SpiderPunk Arms Race issue 2. This is a 28-page comic for $4. Cody Ziegler's the writer here. Justin Mason is the artist. So here is the art that you can expect. There's some pages where you turn, like a calendar, and then you got some pages that look like this, which look really good. So it does keep the reader engaged. There's definitely some very scary moments or very dark moments in this comic, which I didn't see coming, and I actually like that. This second issue for me was better this time around, as we do get into a little bit more action and we eliminate a character in here. Spoiler, this is Justin Hammer. I felt like he was holding the comic book back. There was a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth between Otto Octavius and him about these Sentinels that they were creating. And then once he was eliminated, then the action just really heats up here. So I really enjoyed these 2-page spreads. You see quite a few of them in here. We get to see Rhino in this character, and the story is a lot of fun. You get to see a different cast of characters in this comic book. Not only do you see Spider-Punk, you see Captain Anarchy. We see this version of Daredevil. Like I said, Dr. Octopus, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, things like that. And again, they're going to have to go against this deranged Dr. Octopus in this comic because he wants these octopus sentinel creatures and he doesn't care about money. He just wants to rule the world and things like that. This book is good. It's gotten better. And that's what you want from a second issue. You don't want it to decline. So I'm going to give this one a B+. Looking forward to the second issue. Miles Morales issue 18, legacy numbering 300. 72 pages for $9. Written by Cody Ziegler. The artwork in this one is done by Sarah Pacelli and David Marquez and Luciano Fichetto, Federici Venezini. Like, there is a lot of different artists that went into this 72-page monster. Some of the art is better than other pages, but overall it's pretty consistent coloring, and the characters look great. I thought Rabble looked really nice. I thought the layouts looked really good as well. There was lots of action in this comic book, and it just gets more action heavy as things continue to develop in this comic. This page right here, this one looked fantastic, right? So reading this book, it was like, okay, we're getting ready for this like epic freaking battle between all of these cast of characters, the Cape Killers, who were, I guess, under Kingpin's law, right? And obviously we have Rabble in this comic book, who's been the main villain that's been set up since issue 1 of this series, okay? Now, the characters that you're going to get in this comic is Miles Morales Spider-Man. You get Bumbler, who shoots freaking honey. You get Gust. You get Hightail. You got Agent Gallo in here. Miss Marvel's in here. The Prowler. Like I said, Rabble, Rhino, Scorpion, Shift, who suffers something very bad in this issue, Starling, Taskmaster. I mean, the whole cast is here, and they're under Rabble's thumb as they're going against all of the superheroes, and basically it's just one big revenge story where Rabble wants to do this one-on-one battle with Miles Morales, and we just get to see this action ramp up. It looks really good, and at the end there looks like there's this casualty that happens. Is it true? Not really sure, but this book was really entertaining. And the good thing about this freaking comic book is that it's 72 pages, right? And it's all one freaking story. It's about fucking time, right? I mean, that's what you need. No anthology, no backup story. Like, you told one solid story here from point A to point B, and it made it worth, you know, a 300th issue, a milestone issue. Do I think it should have been $9? Probably not, but still, it was very entertaining, and so I'm gonna give this one a B+. I'm telling you, when it comes to Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales Spider-Man, this has been the best Spider-Man book since Brian Michael Bendis wrote it way back in the days of the Ultimate Universe. The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 46. Guys, legacy numbering 944, 28 pages for $5. Zeb Wells is the writer. Once again, Carmen Carnero, is the artist on this comic. She will be doing that X-Men comic. So again, if you want a little preview of what the artwork is going to be like in that X-Men comic coming out in August, this is what you can expect. And who is this chick? This is Michelle. This was maybe a future love interest in the comic book, but it did go wrong. But again, the artwork looks good in here. The action scenes were a lot of fun in here when you did have the action. We got Electro in this comic, classic Spider-Man villain, which was good to see. We also get to see the Sinister Six in this comic book once again, which they're always fun to see because they want Sandman out. So that's why they want their that's why they make their appearance in this comic. They want the Sandman out so they can be the Sinister Six once again. They contemplated about not having them, but they're like, dude, why should we, we can't be the Sinister Six if we don't have the full team together. So that was pretty cool. And Electro was the one that was elected to go out and break Sandman out. Now, Sandman is having this different type of personality conflict about, oh, am I good, am I bad, am I this, am I that? And he tries to stay on the good side, but always he winds up becoming evil once again. Anna is in this comic as she is like the old wise lady in this comic. This is where everyone is just like, they listen to her advice. She makes everybody a much better person, and she winds up getting out early out of jail from this. And the reason why she was in jail is because she was doing bad things because of, drugs from the X-Men. It's all that crazy stuff. We do get to see Jackpot in this comic book, and maybe, obviously, there's still feelings there for each other. How can there not be? So I do like how Zeb Wells did address the issue, and it was cool to see these guys actually work together. I thought that was kind of fun. And maybe we'll get more of that in the future, and hopefully this leads to them maybe getting back together in here. I feel like it needs to happen, because it's like the whole thing was that she couldn't take care of herself, or he was afraid that she was going to get hurt. But now that she's a hero, come on, man. Fuck Paul, get rid of him, right? He didn't show up, which was good, so they left him out. This was a much better issue. Again, these standalone stories that are not attached to some event or something else like that are better, So my hat's off here for Zeb Wells for writing a pretty decent story. So I'm going to give this one a B+. I thought when it came to the Spider books, I think between this and Miles Morales, they were the best ones going, but Ultimate Spider-Man is a whole other level for me. So guys, just to let you know, you can be a member of my YouTube channel. All you gotta do is hit that join button right on my home screen, and then once you guys do that, you will have access to my videos early. You will have monthly badges to let you know how long you were a member for of my channel. You get stickers attached to the comments, which is really cool, and it's much appreciated, guys. And if you don't, that's fine too. So there are also all the comics that I read for the current comic book week. I want to know your thoughts on these comics. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And as always, guys, there's more content right here for you to click on. And of course, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, read the comics so we can have some awesome discussions. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you real soon. Bye.